Hello students, today we are going to do the fifth lesson of your Hornbill book, The Ailing Planet, The Green Movement's Role. It's been written by Nani Palkiwala. It is an article published in the Indian Express on 24th November 1994, but it's still included in syllabus because of its relevance in present day circumstances. In this lesson, the writer talks of a green movement which was started in 1972 in New Zealand. The writer tells us that this was such an important movement that he compares it with the revolutionary ideas of Copernicus, who told us that in the 16th century that the earth and the other planets revolved around the sun. The writer tells us that this movement shifted the human view from mechanistic view to a holistic and ecological view. He means by this view that for the first time in human history, man started to see Earth as a living organism. Like any other living organism, Earth also has its needs. He refers Earth as a patient whose health is declining. And through this green movement, man has begun to realize his duty to be a good caretaker of the planet, to protect it for future generations. The writer keeps taking examples and keep talking of different facts to prove his point. He talks of the concept of sustainable development, which was popularized in 1987 by the World Commission of Environment and Development. He quotes the idea from its report that development should meet the needs of the present, but it should not compromise the needs of future generations. The writer takes next example from a zoo at Lusaka, Zambia. He says that a cage was there in the zoo. The label beside the cage read like the world's most dangerous animal, which meant that the cage contained the world's most dangerous animal. But when someone would go near the cage would find that there was no animal in the cage actually. There was simply a mirror placed inside the cage, and when one would look into the mirror, he would see his or her own reflection, which clearly would give a message that the most dangerous animal on the earth is man himself. The idea behind this was to bring awareness that man should shift from a system of domination to one based on friendship. Man should work for the cause of development, but not at the cost of harm to our environment. The writer tells that scientists have discovered 1.4 million living beings. They have catalogued these many species of different creatures on the earth, but this estimates vary widely. Some are of the view that 3 to 100 million of other living species still exist and they remain uncatalogued, and man shares this planet with these many creatures and he needs to live in harmony with these all. Next, the writer picks one more fact from the first report of Branded Commission, in which the question was raised whether we are living a very heated up planet where deserts are multiplying, landscapes is getting destroyed, and environment is extremely poor for our future generations. So this question was raised in the first report of Branded Commission. Next, the writer picks the fact from Mr. Lester R. Brown's book, The Global Economic Prospect. It says that there are four biological systems, namely fisheries, forests, grasslands, and croplands. And these four systems form the foundation, the basis of global economic system. Except for minerals and petroleums, which are derived by mining, these four systems fulfills the need of food and raw materials for industries. For the needs of minerals and petroleums, we are dependent on mining. Otherwise, all of our needs are fulfilled by these four biological systems. But it is a matter of concern that in many areas of the world, the over exploitations of resources has brought havoc on these systems. In these days, overfishing is becoming very common, and in poor countries, forests are disappearing due to the exponential need of firewood for cooking. The writer expresses his concern over this exponential increase in the demand of firewood, and it's getting expensive day by day by a wonderful statement. He says that what goes under the pot now costs more than what goes inside it. It actually means that whatever we cook inside the pot is less expensive than the firewood that we use under the pot to cook it. Forests are lifeline for all living creatures, and these forests are receding at a rapid rate. It's estimated that 40 to 50 million acres of forests reduce every year. The writer quotes James Path, the president of the World Resource Institute, and said that we were saying that we are losing the forest at an acre a second, but it is much closer to an acre and a half to a second. Next, the writer refers to the Article 48A of the Constitution of India. He says that according to this article, every state must put efforts to protect and improve the environment. But it's a sorry state of things that laws are never respected nor enforced in India. According to Parliament's Estimates Committee's report, India has lost a great number of forests over 4 decades. It's estimated that India is losing its forests at the rate of 3.7 million acres a year, according to some reliable data. But the actual loss of forests is eightfold than the rate indicated by government statistics. Next, the writer picks up some facts from a report of 3 years study which was conducted by the United Nations that has put forth horrible statistics of deteriorating environment in many of the 88 countries which were investigated. Next, the writer expresses his concern over the ever increasing population. He says that world population is a strong factor which affects the future of human society. The writer gives us some data of world population. The world population reached its mark of the first billion around the year 1800, and it took only around 100 more years to add to another billion in the population. And the last century added around 3.7 billion, and the world's population was estimated by the end of last century as around 5.7 billion. It is assumed that world population increases by the rate of 1 million in every 4 days. The writer feels that development is the best contraceptive to control world population, since development brings with it awareness, education, prosperity, good health, and uphold the idea of small families. Next, the writer condemns the misbelief that more children bring more work. Rather, they bring more people without work. And the writer suggests the idea of family planning because it is a choice between population control and poverty. The writer also expresses his concern over the population of India. The writer told that the moment the article was published, the population of India was around 920 million, and the people unfamiliar with Indian conditions might have felt concerned that population control must be given topmost priority in India. Next, the course of conversation moves to appreciate the green movement, and writer tells us that it's for the first time in human history that overwhelming concern is being upheld not for the survival of the people but for the survival of the planet itself. And man is adopting a holistic approach, a holistic view for his existence. By holistic view, the writer means to work for development without compromising environment and our planet. The writer does not ignore the role of industry to work for the betterment of our environment. He shared the views of the chairman of DuPont, Mr. Edgar S. Woolard, who declared himself not the CEO of the company, but the chief environmental officer. The writer quotes the statement of Margaret Thatcher and calls her statement as most well chosen. She had said, "No generation has a freehold on this earth. All we have is a life tenancy with a full repairing lease." This statement means that no one among us is the owner of this earth, but we all are tenants, and during our life tenancy period, the responsibility of its repairing is with us. Before the end of the lesson, the writer quotes another wonderful statement of Mr. Latter Brown. He had said, "We have not inherited this earth from our forefathers, we have borrowed it from our children." This statement makes us to think that we need to return this planet to our future generations, and we must return this planet to our future generation in a good condition. Thanks for watching the video. If you like it, then hit like and share the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.